How's it going today, guys? It's been about a week since I filmed the last video of the Holzhausen, and I can't say I've worked a ton on it, but I'd say a few nights I split 2 or 3 loads of wood, and what I do is I just split them and load the wheelbarrow and wheel them right over. So we've got the whole thing now. We've got the outer circle done, and on one side I'm up to probably about 2.5, 3 feet. I had a couple comments on the first video I just wanted to address, and the first one was by Backwoods Patriot, and he recommended just using anything but a tape measure to measure the outside. And I'm going to agree 100% with him. You know, when I was using the tape measure, I noticed in the video, sometimes I wasn't sure whether I should line a log up with the back of the tape or where the mouth of the tape is. So I think the best thing you could do is, if you've got like a piece of PVC, you know, find a piece of PVC. This is actually longer than 5 feet. You could use that to touch the pipe. If you've got like a sapling, this is actually a twig from a plant called meadow rue, and this is pretty much exactly how long it needs to be. But you know, I would say don't use the tape measure. Use the tape measure once to make a measuring stick, and then use your measuring stick to measure from the center. It's going to save you a lot of frustration. Much easier to move this around. Another comment I got was from Trackco75, who said that he noticed in the video that I wasn't putting all my bark facing down. And all I can say to that is it was just an honest mistake. Sometimes my mind wanders. I will say that there are some times when the piece is long and narrow. Here's one, okay, here's one where the bark is up. I mean, this would just be my mind slipping, or it would work better that way. But I'm gonna say the majority of my bark should be facing down. My game plan for today, I've got 3 wheelbarrows of wood already split, and then I've got probably another 4 or 5 already split from the straight pieces. And then I started using the splitter as well to bust up some stumps, because the stumps are usually good fill, but unfortunately they're splitting pretty straight. But we're gonna go up another 2 to 3 feet today. Because once you get about 18 inches off the ground, you never have to bend again. It's awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start just laying our wood the same way we have, with the fat part facing towards the back. Bark down. Any small pieces we'll just toss in the middle. And don't be afraid to readjust the piece of wood below to make things work better. Now what I suspect is going to happen eventually, and what's happened every time I've ever built one of these, is you see how over here it's starting to tilt outward. And if you let that go for too long, you're going to end up with a Holzhausen that just wants to take off on you. So one of the keys is to recognize when you're starting to slope outward and do something about it before it's too late. Now this is, if you take a look at this spot, it's probably, using my eye without a level, it's probably only a touch higher in the middle than it is on the outside, but once you get there, stop. If you wait too long to fix it, it's going to be too late and your whole pile is going to want to slide out. And all you need to do when you notice that your pile's getting too high in the middle is just take a nice, this is like in the base, we want to use a nice uniform piece and just lay it in along the outside. And try to find a way to put the piece where when you put it, it's going to be nice and secure. It's not going to flop around a lot. You know, move it this way, move it that way. Don't be afraid to readjust the ones on the bottom. I'm not too concerned that there's a big hole under here. If I had a small piece, I could shove it in. Once you've got that piece, is you just keep building. And we've got our angle established again. And I will continue to do that. I'll put another one over here. I think that's off screen. But we'll continue to do that wherever we start to get spots that are too high in the middle, we'll just put a piece on the outside, get that slope back, and keep building. It's usually not just one piece. I usually end up using at least 2 or 3, if not more. This is that flat one I just put in, so let's see if I can just build a little farther this way and show you guys what it looks like. This wood right here, this is ash. You see that nice straight grain? There's a bug called the emerald ash borer, which is gutting our forests right now. And the arborists are taking out a lot of ash because there's so many dead trees. Now the tricky thing with a Holzhausen is every course gets smaller. So sometimes, especially when you're being filmed, things don't quite go the right way you want them to. So I would say don't be afraid to walk away if you need to. Don't be afraid to turn the camera off and fix the pile off camera. Whatever it takes. So here's the end of that piece I was working on, and I did not turn the camera off. And I'm just going to see if I can flatten this out a bit. I don't know, that I want like a really skinny one for right there. That might do it. Whenever I've got pieces of wood with sharp ends, or like this end is kind of nasty, angled, no big deal, I just, for aesthetics, I like to put the square ends on the outside. So when you look at it from the outside, it looks nice. I've got my wheelbarrow right here. It's at waist height. I don't have to bend over. And I'm just pulling right off the wheelbarrow. And putting them on my Holzhausen. There's just a couple things I wanted to mention to you as you're building your Holzhausen. And the first one is if you cut your wood along the grain, what I do with my really knotty pieces is I'll just take the saw and I'll cut them along the grain. I think some people call it noodling. Just be careful where you put these pieces because these are much smoother than firewood normally is. So I would be careful not to put two pieces you cut with the grain together because it's going to slide apart. And then the other problem I was having today was if you get ones with a knot in the middle, just throw them in the middle because they end up being more trouble than they're worth. you know, when I put them down, and this isn't a great example, I had a couple that were worse. When you put them down, they kind of rock back and forth. So you think you got everything good, but then you put your next log on and they kind of rock back down. So knots on the end is awesome because it gives you more height. But if you've got a knot in the middle, just go ahead and throw it in the middle of the pile. Don't use these. Well guys, we made some great progress today, and I'm happy to say that I went through another 12 wheelbarrows full of wood today, and I'm officially caught up with my, my split wood again. Right where I'm standing, the pile it's exactly 4.5 feet tall, and I've still got quite a ways to go. The first thing I want to say about the Holzhausen, just in my mind today, is I did do a 9-foot diameter Holzhausen, but I think if you're a die-hard wood burner, and I need to remind myself when I start next time, just go for 10 feet. I'm noticing it is kind of choking in, and I really love having all this wood in one spot. Think about how long your wood pile would be if you were going to use rows of wood to store this much wood. And I'm actually thinking about this tree over here. I've got this witch hazel tree, and I'm seriously considering, it's fall right now, I'm seriously considering digging that out, putting some more gravel over there so I can get 2 Holzhausens going. And I want to be way ahead. Every winter I always seem to put myself last for firewood, or firewood last, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. I'd really like to be 2 years ahead. They say the best thing you can do is be 2 years ahead with wood. And this wood will be burned, at least the top of the pile will be burned this winter. I am going to continue to split and work on my sides, and once we get up around 5 or 6 feet and it's time to start tapering the top, we will come back and show you guys how I do it. Thanks for watching today, folks, and have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.